information you can get. This is Built on Blues. Built on Blues.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Built on Blues. I'm your host, Graeme Bryks. I am really excited to introduce my guest today. They told him he wasn't good enough at 13 years old, so he became a pro baseball player. They told him he was just an athlete, so he built a real estate empire flipping hundreds of homes. They told him the tech space was too crowded, so he built Harvist, a software company that is revolutionizing how agents grow. He's the host of Optimal Self. He's a husband, a father, a grandfather, but of all else, he is the man driven by one obsession, the ripple effect. He believes that if you can just help one person, that ripple effect never ends. I'm honored to have the man who taught me that everything is a skill and you just haven't learned it yet. Jeremy Herider, welcome to the show.
Wow. Thanks, buddy. Graham, it's been looking forward to it, man, since we first met. So thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here today.
Yes, I'm super excited to get started. You know, when we last talked, there's a lot of things that hit home for me, and I want to dive deeper into that conversation. So, Jeremy, I want to go straight to the root. You told me a story offline that gave me chills. It's about a 13-year-old boy at a pizza party, a coach who was like a second father to you, and the heartbreaking words, son, you just aren't good enough. Take us back to that curb outside the pizza place with your mom when she asked you that life-changing question. How did that change that trajectory of your entire life?
So let's catch the audience up a little bit. I mean, obviously, you heard the story. I was a baseball player for college, played Division I baseball at Gonzaga University, on to play with the Reds and the Diamondbacks professionally. That was my dream, right? Since my mom will tell you, from the time I came out of the womb, I was throwing baseballs. And even as a 6-year-old boy or 7-year-old boy, I was at Dodger Stadium with my grandpa, and they got me on the mic and they said, "What are you going to be when you grow up?" And I said, "I'm going to be a pro baseball player," right? And so I wasn't the best kid. I wasn't the fastest kid. I wasn't blessed with some crazy genetics that got me there. But the story you're speaking of, that we spoke of, was a day that changed my life forever, right? I think we all have paradigm shifting moments in our lives, and the best thing we can do is recognize them and grow from them. And so that moment for me, the first time, was as a 13-year-old boy, and there's an all-star team that got picked, and I thought for sure I was making it, and the coach was my coach, and so I thought for sure, he's like a second dad to me. And when the names got called, my name didn't get called, and I was devastated. I was brokenhearted because I had my hopes set on this, and it was going to be, make this all-star team, and I didn't make it. And the only person that I could ask was the coach, and so, I went over to him. We were all at the pizza party after the season, and tugged on his shirt, and he looked down at me. He's a big 6'2" man. I was just this little 13-year-old boy. And he looked at me and he said, "Yes." And I said, "How come I didn't make the All-Star team?" And I said specifically to him, "Why didn't you pick me?" And he looked me straight in the eye in his deep, raspy voice, and he said, "Well, son, because you weren't good enough." In that moment, you don't understand what's happening, right? Your heart's broke. You're completely broken. A 13-year-old boy. I don't have the capacity to understand it. But I did. I ran into the bathroom and cried my eyes out, and once I got my shit together, I came out and called my mom, and she wasn't there. Called her to ask her to come pick me up, and she was like, "It's a sleepover, you're supposed to stay." And I said, "Please, Mom, please come be at me." And she did. She said, "Okay, I'm on my way." And I didn't even go back to the table. I didn't get another piece of pizza. Did nothing. I went, sat out on the curb and waited for her to pull up. When she did, I jumped in the car, and she could tell obviously something was wrong, that I'd been crying. She asked me what was wrong and wouldn't tell her. And she said, "Please tell me what's wrong." And she literally pulled into a parking spot. She said, "We're not going anywhere until you tell me what the hell's going on." And I told her. And she was irate as any mom would be, right? Somebody telling their baby boy that, he's not good enough.
Yeah.
And so she's like, "What?" Seatbelt off and car in park and ready to jump out. And I put my hand on, and I begged her. I said, "Please, Mom, don't go in there. Please, I'm begging you." And she's like, "He can't say," and I was like, "Please, Mom, I'm embarrassed. It sucks. It's fine. Whatever. Let's go. And she stopped in that moment. And it's one of the greatest moments of my life today. Is she stood at me and she said, "You don't want me to go in there?" And I said, "Please, Mom, don't." And she said, "Fine. What are you going to do about it then?" And those words, even to this day right now, when I say those words, "What are you going to do about it?" my whole body goes calm. Even today. That was a 13-year-old boy sitting in a car with his mom. I'm 54 years old today, done, all the things that you said. And still to this day, I use that for myself all the time. And the reason is because what she gave me that day was the ability to know that I am in control of the outcome, that I am in control of what happens next. Nobody else, not a coach, not a parent, nobody. It's what am I going to do about it? What can I do? And the truth is, in that moment, instantly, it freed up a spot in my mind and in my soul and in my brain. And I asked her, she's like, let's go get, what moms are. She wanted to go get ice cream or whatever, you know what I mean? Let's get a treat.
Yeah.
And I asked her to go to Big Five. And I lived in California. That was like the big sporting goods store in those days when I was a kid. And she was like, my mom was not a sports fan. She'd be like, what? And I was like, the sporting goods. And she's like, right. And so we drive over. I'll never forget it to this day. I could tell you it was on sale, right? It was normally like $26 and it was $19.99, a yellow sign. And I asked her for a batting, and she pulled it off. She didn't even know what it was. It was a batting tee. She's like, this is what you want? This is going to ease your pain and, stop you from crying and being upset. And she's like, for $20, I'm in, right? So she goes up and buys it. And I can tell you, Graeme, and the audience today, I still have that tee to this day. I'm 54 years old. It's traveled with me. I've never thrown it out. It stays with me. But here's what happened in those days. And this is the important part is went home, set up that tee, started hitting off the tee in the backyard. But I also went in, scrounged up a bunch of change from around the house, right? I was only 13, didn't have any money. I got on my bike and I rode my bike down to the CVS. It's a little kind of store. And I bought a calendar and I bought a Sharpie. And I came back and I put the calendar on the wall. And every day that I went out and hit off the tee, I put an X on the calendar. And the first month, it was all over the place. There was maybe 2, 3, 4 X's, right? The next month, a little bit more, 6, 7, 8, 9. By the third month, I had like 3 or 4 in a row. And I was like, let me see how many in a row I can get. And then I started doing it every day. And then I didn't want to break the streak. I didn't want it to end. So on a Sunday before church, I'd go out there and hit before. If it was raining, I'd use tennis balls instead of the baseballs so they wouldn't get wet. And I just found ways every day to go out and hit it, and just one after another after another. Now here's the important part that the audience has to hear is that that's a 13-year-old boy. 14 wasn't that much better, right? 15 made freshman in high school, made the high school team, didn't play much. As a sophomore, a little bit more. As a junior, I hit 9th in the lineup. Those that don't know baseball, that's the last person on the team. That's the last person in the lineup. By the time I was a senior, I was 18 years old. 5 years later, thousands of X's on those calendars, and I kept buying new calendars. Thousands and thousands of X's. Hours and hours of days in the backyard, in the rain, in the dark. By the time I was a senior, I led the state in hitting. I made my first ever All-Star team, the All-Valley All-Star team, the one that every kid wants to make. And then I got to go on to college. But it didn't take 1 time in the backyard. It didn't take 2 times in the backyard. Mm-hmm. It didn't take a year. It took 5 years before I saw any kind of real fruition, right? And then continued it on. And then you get stronger, and then as you get better, as you get older, right? The maturity starts to happen, and then on to Gonzaga, and then on to professional baseball. But it all still always comes back, and it wasn't an easy ride. It was always back to the point was, had a bad day, what am I going to do about it? Yeah. Had a good day, what am I going to do about it? Because again, the good days and the bad days, it doesn't matter which one you have. They're both going to happen. In life, in business, in sport, they're going to happen. You're going to have a bad day. Does that define you? What are you going to do about it? You had to have a good day, right? I could be 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. I could be 4 for 4 with 4 home runs. You got to get up and do it again tomorrow. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, I think that's super important for people to understand, going back to that amazing question, what are you going to do about it? Just like figuring out that you are actually in control of your emotions, you're in control of your destiny, you're in control of what you're going to do next. I feel like a lot of people put blame on situations, and like they blame either, like they're like, you could easily blame your coach for not picking you could have blamed your teammates for something, but no, like I'm way better than him. You could have put blame on people but you didn't. You, especially at 13, like that, like not people don't even realize that nowadays. People are so like super egotistical and being like, no, like it's someone else's fault. It's not mine. It's but like coming to that core thought of like, what am I gonna do about it? Like you are always in control of what you need to do to take that next step to, solve that problem or, just like get better at what you're doing. So I think that is like such an amazing story for people to hear. And I think everyone needs to rewatch that part maybe 5 times to really truly understand that, you're in control. Going into work ethic and, like that work ethic took you to Division 1, took you to pro ball, but eventually, the jersey comes off. Most athletes crash when the game ends. You didn't. You went into real estate and crushed it. How did you take that discipline, that obsession with hitting the baseball and transfer it into business? Did you feel like a rookie again, or did you just apply the same formula? I'm not good at this yet.
It's a great question. So coming out of baseball was probably the most difficult time of my life, and again, luckily luckily we were already doing some real estate, some flips while I was still a baseball player, right? So
Hmm.
so there was a little bit of transition. The transition wasn't so hard, but what I'll tell you is this: is I'll give you for the day that happened. So another paradigm shift in my life was that. So as I came out and then I got into real estate, about 2 years into it, and again, want to be clear, life is not as rosy as it thinks. I was married that whole time. I had 2 little girls. We went through a divorce right around the same time I got done. I was coming out of baseball, and I want everyone to know, like, it's rough, right? What I didn't know was who I was. I hadn't started to build a true identity. And I'll share with you this way. There was a day I was at the grocery store. We were in the middle of our divorce. The girls were with their moms, so I was by myself. So I was there. They were coming to my house the next day. We had 50-50 joint physical custody. So had the girls 50% of the time. And I walked into the grocery store. Well, as I was walking in, there was a guy walking out. I recognized him. Couldn't tell you what his name was at the time. Like, I just recognized him. And he said, "Hi, Jeremy, hey, how are you?" We shook hands. I'm like, "Hey man, how are you? Good to see you." And as we walked past each other, he stopped. He goes, "Hey, do you have a second?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. What's up?" He's like, "My son's in the car, and I tell him all the time about you, about the baseball player who I went to school with." And Graham, by the I hadn't played in a baseball game in like 2 years at that point.
Yeah.
I was full blown in the real estate side of things
Hmm.
and being a dad and going through all of that. And in that moment, I was like, like, yeah, sure. And he grabs his kid. Here comes this like 8-year-old kid walking up, and he's like, "Hey, this is Jeremy. This is the baseball player I was telling you about. We went to high school together." And, in that moment, Graham, my entire body froze. Like, I had the most uneasy feeling in the world. And I'm going to describe it. It was like I felt like a fraud. And here's why.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing baseball anymore, and he just described me as a baseball player. That was his term, like, he's a baseball player. My initial words that wanted to come out of my mouth was like, "Hey, I'm not a baseball player." But I could see the look on the kid's face, and he was so excited, right? And it's not about me, it's about him. And so I shook his hand and did the normal, like, "What position do you play?" And we had a cool little interaction. Very nice kid, wonderful man. Shook hands, gave me a hug, both of them. Said, "Thank you so much." Off they went. And as I walked into the grocery store, my entire mind just wouldn't stop that baseball player, baseball player, baseball player. I didn't even get to shop, man. I went back, I sat in the car, and truthfully, I don't even know how long. Felt like a couple hours probably. And I had this like massive identity crisis where I was like,
Yeah.
who am I? Like, I'm not a baseball player. People think I'm a baseball player. That's not true, right? But and it didn't take this little time. It took me time. I'm gonna shorten this for the audience. Is that what I had to do is sit down and figure out who I was, and I had to understand that baseball is something I did. It's not something I was. I was, yeah, and still to this day now I can tell you, yeah, heck yeah, I played baseball. I loved it. It was great. It was a wonderful part of my life. It taught me so much. Probably gave me many, many, many of the things that I have today in my life come from the disciplines of being on a team, showing up to practice, being on
Hmm.
time, right? Being a teammate, all those kind of things. And so, But in that moment, you have to figure it out. And I think everybody on here should figure this out, right? The thing you do is not defining you, it's who you are. What's your character? How about your integrity? Are you who you say you are? How do you stand up in the world? And so that was a really big moment for me because it transitioned me from not just feeling like a fraud in that moment, but being able to say, yeah, that's something I did. And I can give that back. I coach kids today now in baseball because I want to give all that back to somebody, right? Goes back to what you and I talked about offline was that it was one of those moments that brought on the impact, right? That first said to me like, okay, now let's go do, right? Even the real estate. Yeah, we were doing very well. Yes, we built some really cool stuff, but that's not who I am, right? Who I am is
Yeah.
the dad. Who I am is now the grandfather, right?
Hmm.
And how I respond to the world, in our early conversation, right? I told you, hey, look, I want you to leave this conversation with positivity and love and adoration, and that's what I try to do now. And so those are the moments, right? That transition from baseball to real estate, the transition in doing the thing. Yes, I could apply the same disciplines. Matter of fact, 2007, the market crashed. We got hit really, really hard. Got caught with our pants down. We were over leveraged in several positions. Got into a lot of financial problems. We had to short sell some properties. Had to learn how to do all that. Didn't know anything about it. Right? Was I a rookie? Yeah, and I had to learn. And I'm gonna say it again. Like it's the greatest thing that can happen to you because when you are set up to learn and learn the environment and learn the rules of the game and go play it better than anybody else, no matter what that game, the game of business, that's what you have to do. And trust yourself to say, yeah, look, I don't know today. I don't, but I'm willing to learn.
Yeah.
And I'm not good enough yet.
Yet.
That's the truth. And even today, Harvest isn't close to what it's going to be. And the reason it's not there is because I'm not good enough yet. But if I keep getting better, it will keep getting better. And I
Yeah.
can get the people around us better. And then they can take it to the next step. And we can work as a team and we can grow it, right?
Yeah.
And impact more people, right? Be there for more people. And we have to constantly adapt, especially in today's business world. Man,
Yeah.
you have to be ahead of the game. You have to be constantly moving, right? And it's not because everyone thinks AI is going to take over and all that kind of stuff. Look, it's a beautiful
Just
thing.
business.
Use
Yeah.
it. But people still want to be with people in most instances. Most instances, we still need the human connection,
I
especially in the real
yeah.
estate world. In my game, yes, right? So,
I truly believe that human connection part. It's just like going back to like you probably created a little ripple effect for that kid in that sporting store where like he was like, holy crap, like you're the baseball player. And like I know we'll talk a little bit more about the feeling like a fraud and all that kind of stuff, but like you were the baseball player for him right there. Like you maybe you think about like internally you're like, oh, I kind of like feel like a fraud, but like maybe for him that like sparked something in him, right? So but no, I can definitely relate to kinda like the feeling like a fraud, not necessarily like a fraud, but just like, after hockey, I was like the same situation with my family. Like I was always the hockey guy. I was always the hockey guy. Like I didn't make it professional or anything like that. I made semi-pro, which is just like always try to think of it like it is an accomplishment. Making the WHL. Not a lot of people can say it, but it's also not the best of the best. So like it's an eternal fight that I battle with. Um, but essentially, like, I feel like a lot of athletes do struggle out there after that point where it's like, what, who are you after the skates are off, or you drop the bat, or the cleats are off? Like, really, like, who are you in this world? And finding your purpose, I think, is really important. And like you said, it doesn't just come overnight. Like you got to figure out like what are your true values? What are your morals? Are you actually like do you have good virtue? I think that is so important, as well as like taking what you've learned through your sport. I think everyone learns so much from sports. I didn't realize it until after hockey that I was like, holy shit, I just learned so many life lessons about discipline, hard work, community, like working with a team, always being on time, holding myself to a high standard, always, 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 and like always being professional when it comes to meeting people and, just being kind and carrying it forward. And, that whole carrying it forward part, I haven't strapped on skates in 4 years. Like, if you were to meet me when I was 18, 17 years old, I was like hockey, 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 hockey. Like that's all I cared about. Like I didn't care about school. I wanted to make the NHL. That's all I ever wanted. I sacrificed everything for it. And to go from someone who was so obsessed with the game to my last game felt like such a weight lifted off my off my shoulders. And I was like, holy crap, like I'm almost like free of this obsession. Like my last couple years were pretty bad for me, just personally, mentally, and physically. I was like, oh no, I don't ever want to touch like the skates again. So like 4 years I haven't. I ran into this guy at the gym and he saw me wearing like my old hockey hat. He's like, "Oh my crap, like you played for the Royals." I was like, "Yeah," like going back to the whole fraud thing. He's like, "You should like come like coach our kids or whatever kind of stuff, or like you should come play beer league with us." And I was like, "Honestly, man, like I haven't touched my skates in years." I'm like, maybe like if I have kids one day, he's like, "Honestly, man, like, you look at it this way." He was a firefighter. He's like, "So many people sacrifice, like, their time for you, and you just didn't realize it." He's like, "All your coaches, your parents, all this kinda stuff, like, they sacrifice a lot of time for you. It's like, it's time for you to pay it back." I was like, "Holy shit, like, you're right." Like, I'm almost being selfish by, like, not giving back what somebody gave to me, right? So, I'm trying to go back and, like, kinda take that mindset instead. But yeah, no, just going off track a little bit here. But I know I just think like all that is like super important. And then going into like mindset, like having a mindset is so important going into tasks and into things because, you can easily lose track of what it is you're actually doing. So I want to go into a little bit more about Harvest now. You built this software because you saw a gap with real estate agents struggling to be consistent. They know what to do, but they don't do it. You said something to me that stuck. I don't care if competitors copy me. There's 180,000 agents out there. I only need 1,000 of them. Where does that abundance mindset come from?
Wow. So, where does it come from? I think it comes back. I think it comes from my mom and her, giving me that gift that day, but giving us many many gifts throughout our lives of just watching her work and working two jobs to make sure that we had everything we needed, and somehow some way there are four of us boys getting to sporting events, getting to sporting practices, getting to school, getting homework done. Yeah, man, she was that. But to answer your question there with Harvest is that, if you're doing something great, they're going to copy you. It's that simple. It doesn't matter, right? And I don't care what your industry is. I don't care what you're doing. I mean, even for you right now, right? Like, there's going to be somebody out there that hears this or sees what you're doing and goes, I want to do what Graham's doing, and that's okay, because the truth is what divides and what hurts us as humans altogether, right? Not race, not gender, not any of that. What hurts us is the divide of people in the narrative trying to push us against one another. And the best thing that can happen is, again, I come from sport, right? It doesn't count if I don't have a team in that other dugout that wants to kick my ass. If I don't have somebody across from me, if there's not a pitcher out there that's trying to get me out, then me hitting doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You need that person who wants to kick your ass, who wants to win, who wants to compete against you. And then you have to rise to that occasion. And the same thing goes in business. There is no competition with other business. My competition is not the other business. My competition is that guy in the mirror and me looking at him and him looking back at me, knowing I am who the fuck I say I am. And I'm going to show up and I'm going to do the work.
And what are you going to do about it?
What am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
Hey, that guy's trying to kick your ass. Good. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Please. I need that. You need the competition. You need somebody to come after you. You need somebody to challenge you. And guess what? Let's be really clear. There's going to be times where they're even better. Good. You know why? Because then you have to rise to that level if you want to win. And winning isn't just winning the game. Winning isn't beating them to the client. Winning isn't making more money than them. That's not winning. Winning is it's an internal, it's the process. It's finding that thing inside of me. There's many days that we didn't sign anybody up for Harvest. We didn't have a positive cash flow day. But hell yeah, we won. Because we did what he said we were going to do. We answered all those calls. We helped people. And maybe we talked to 10, 15 people that day on demos and showing them and they didn't work out. That happens.
Mm-hmm.
Then there might be a day where we sign up 10 out of the 11 people because again, that's the day. But if I took the day that I was 0 for 15 and I thought, oh my God, we're done. We're cooked. No, we're not. I can tell you now, I've been in this game 25 years, the real estate game. I can talk to an agent in 5 minutes and know if they should use Harvist or shouldn't. And I'm going to tell them, I don't think you're ready for this. And here's why. But here's what you can do. I'm always going to give them positive, right? I don't think your budget is in alignment with what it's going to take to get Harvist and for it to work at its highest level for you. But you can use what we do, but you can do it yourself on a tighter budget, grow it, go get more business, get more cash flow, get your business profitable, and now take some of those profits and come back and invest.
Mm-hmm.
You see, it goes back to not where most people get in trouble, Graeme, is they have this expectation, right? They think we're going to start this and in a year I'm going to be here. And when they're not, they think it's a failure.
Yeah.
It's because we overestimate what we can do in that short period of time and we underestimate what we can do over a long period of time. So we just need to expand the time horizon, right? Because I'll tell you right now, if I thought Harvist was going to be, a $100 million company in year one, we would have quit. We weren't even close to that.
Yeah.
We would have quit. But if I say, all right, Jeremy, I'm going to give you 5, 7, 8 years, but you got to bust your ass every day. Every day. Now, anybody who's listening right now, anybody, I'm telling you, that the 13-year-old boy, if you would have told that 13-year-old boy, hey, you're going to have to get out there and you're going to have to hit every day, and nothing's going to happen. But when you're 18, you're going to have the time of your life. You're going to have the biggest explosion in your life. You're going to grow a little bit and all these things. Because again, there's no crystal balls, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you would have told him that, do you know this? This is a true stat. 98% of the people would be like, that's too far. 18, 5 years, that's way too far. And they'd have given up. There's about 1.8% in real life that are like, yeah, okay, I'll see it through. So I urge the people here today, right? If they're new entrepreneurs, if they're starting a business and what they're doing, I'm telling you, you're going to suck today. You're not, because you're not good enough. You're going to suck. The truth. And you're probably going to suck for another year. Some of you are going to suck for 2 years. But I promise you, if you go day in and day out and you can endure and you can get to year 5, the world's going to be at your feet. You will win.
Truly believe that people need to hear that, because especially in this day and age with either social media or people just see and expect results instantly. They just see the good side of business. They see just on social media all the ups, all the ups, all the ups, and they never see the downs. They never see what it actually takes to get there. And, going back to like setting expectations, I feel like a lot of people get down on themselves when they don't meet those expectations. Like that's what they do. They just get down on themselves. They see, oh, this person's doing it this way, or this person's like making it like, why am they always, and then go back to like, why me? Like they almost blame themselves. Well, that always goes back to the mindset, or like, what are you going to do about it? But people just get so down on themselves from social media. And that's why like I want to have this conversation. I want people to hear this, because it is so important to change that mindset and change the way you think to, I'm just not good enough yet. It's going to suck. You have to go through the suck. I remember my one coach in hockey told me this, which I absolutely love, is like, embrace the suck, literally embrace it. Like love it. Like love the grind, love how much is going to, like, even there's days where I wake up and it's like, I'm waking up at 5 a.m. every day because I'm forcing myself to, because it's just the discipline in me. Every time I wake up, I'm like, fuck, maybe like 30 more minutes or an hour would just like feel so much, but no, wouldn't. Like fucking love this. Like just love this feeling. Love waking up at 5 a.m. Love going to the gym first, and then love doing cold calling. Love doing, like, just love it. Just make it enjoyable somehow. And it'll make that process so much easier. So I think what you said is super important for people to hear. I want to touch up on ego. I think that is such an important part.
Let me add this.
Okay.
I want to, because you said something very important. So I'm going to give. There's 2 things I want to give the audience right now, and because you touched on it there. One of the things that I talk about a lot, especially through my years of running real estate offices and coaching thousands and thousands of agents and things like that, is I'm going to give them both to you. Number one is the goals, right? Should I set a goal? Should I not set a goal? Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. What matters is this. What we do is we have a framework. And the framework is this. We're going to change that word. So we're going to change the word goal to destination. Now listen, the destination. Right now, Harvist, our goal is 100 million in revenue, right? It's 10,000 people. It's paying you $10,000 a year. Got it? Very simple to understand, right? Okay. Now listen, that's the destination. That's the goal, but it's the destination. And here's why it's the destination. Because we may not hit it today. We may not hit it at the end of 26 or at the end of 27. Now, if we hit at the end of 26, fantastic, right? We've reached our destination. But the reason it's not a goal, because you're like, oh shit, you didn't hit your goal. Oh, you missed your goal. No, we're on our way to that destination. The time component is sometimes out of my control. And sometimes we need to shorten time horizons and don't get too confused on the goal setting and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot more to it. But an overarching idea, right? Because even if it's the yearly goal and you don't hit it, then that was the destination. We're not to the destination yet. What happened along the path, along the journey that stopped us from hitting our destination? Because something did. Whether it was just we just ran out of time and I just need 3 more months. Or do we need to institute? Do we have a bottleneck somewhere in the business, right, that we need to fix? Because there's some speed bumps along the way. There's some curves along the way, right? The journey, the path isn't always clear and easy. But if we didn't hit it, if at the end of this year this is our goal and we didn't hit it, this is our destination and we're not there. We just haven't hit the destination yet. So I want to give that to the people. Use it, understand it, and we go deeper if you have more questions. And the second one is this, and it's the laying in bed, because I'm the same guy. Right? When you get up in the morning and you got him on either shoulder, right? And this guy's saying like, God, it's warm here. Just 5 more minutes. Yeah. And this guy's saying,
don't be bitch.
You piece of shit.
Yeah.
Get your ass out of bed. You worthless piece of shit. No, 5 more minutes. No, and go back and forth. But I'll give you this, and this comes from James Clear in Atomic Habits. And this is something that I talk about a lot, and it's only in my internal dialogue as well, is that you can lay here, Jeremy. You can lay here. No one will know. No one will know if it's 5 more minutes. And I'll still be in the gym and I'll still get all done, right? But this is what I want people to understand. Your psyche, your subconscious, your unconscious, the person deep in there that's making all your decisions, by the way, is paying attention. And every time you say you're going to do something and don't do it, it's a vote for you not being the greatest version of you. Every single choice you make is a vote for or a vote against the person you want to be. Make that choice. Who do you want to be? Say who it is and dress accordingly and show up like you said. Because even though it's a little one, right? You could go eat McDonald's today. You can get a Big Mac, you can get a large fry, you can get a large shake, and you're not going to wake up with diabetes and be 100 pounds overweight today. You're not. Do it day after day. Keep voting. 100% of the time, you keep voting that way, you will end up with diabetes and you will end up really, really bad health. No question. It doesn't happen today, but neither does not getting out of bed that one time. Not going to change.
No, I agree. It's those moments where no one will see it, but like you said, it's like that internal part of you, like and then
you can't lie to you.
You can't lie to you. It's that voting against the person that you're trying to be. And one thing I think really hits home as well is I remember also in hockey, like, you always know if you truly gave it your all. And
Always.
like, it's like we didn't reach that goal or that destination. Well, look in the mirror and like truly ask yourself, did you do everything you possibly could to get there? And there will be that time where you remembered you went to McDonald's. It will be that time you remembered you didn't wake up. You spent another hour in bed. Then you spent another hour in bed. Then you spent another hour in bed. Those all add up. So did you truly give it your all? It's always another thing that sports taught me, which will always be grateful for, the sports background and all the life lessons. Now going back to the ego.
Go for it.
You've transitioned from being the star player to the coach. You told me my job is to make you better than me when it comes to hiring. I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. Most bosses want to be the smartest guy in the room. Why is it so important for you to surround yourself with people who can outrun you And how do you check your ego at the door to let them win?
So the two things I always tell people, right? If they come, because I do have that a coaching business as well. And so when they come to me as a coach, I always tell them first and foremost, if they're interviewing other people, I said, well, just ask them one question. If you have a coach, ask the coach, does he have a coach? And if he doesn't have a coach, that's the wrong person. You should, because they think they know everything, right? And what I've learned through athletics, what I've learned through business on several occasions is I don't know everything. And there's no way to get through, because I have certain strengths and I have weaknesses. And my job is to play to my strengths, to learn as much as I can for the weaknesses. But when it's time to grow the business, it's time to get somebody who's better than me at that thing, right? I mean, I know how to post on Instagram. I can make a post. Matter of fact, I can go to Canva, make it look pretty cool, actually. I'm not too bad at that, right? Now with the AI and stuff like that, man,
Yeah.
I can look like a genius.
You can look like a professional
I look
marketer.
like I know what the hell I'm doing sometimes.
Yeah.
But the truth is, the person who we have now that is part of our team is amazing at it. A bajillion times better than I could ever be. Ever. No matter how long I do it. And that's the goal. The goal is not for me to be the best at everything. The goal is not, matter of fact, the goal is for me to not be the smartest guy. Remember, many people have heard if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yes.
And that's the truth. That is the absolute truth, right? You want to be pushed, you want to be pulled. And so for me, I want to be around people who want to be better. Because again, my job is not to hold you back. My job, even with the people that I hire through the company, I want you to be better. That's the whole point. The whole point of putting you in position that you're in this company is because you're better than me. Because if I can do it, what do I need you for?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. I'm just wasting money, right? As a company. And again, there's levels to this thing to a certain extent. But my strength is from the CEO. My strength is from the macro version, to look at all aspects, to understand where the money's going, to understand how it flows, so that we can make more money, to look at to be ahead of the market a little bit, right? That's studying it and understanding it. But I need the people around me that are better than me at these other positions, that are better than me at the certain things. I had the CFO call me the other day. He's like, hey, we need to meet. I'm like, okay, great. And he's showing me different things, and he's projecting out, and he's doing all this cool stuff. Way above. I mean, I'm like, dude, I high-five that. As a matter of fact, I gave him a hug. I was like, dude, you are so fucking amazing. The things that he's looking at, I didn't even think about, bro. Not even a glimpse in my head. And I'm looking at similar numbers that he's looking at. But he just has a different, he has a different scale, right? He has a different lens. And because of that, we're going to save money and thrive, right? You've got to have those people. You got to have those people in your life, right? You got to have those, and you got to people. He very well will tell me like, hey, now you can't spend that. I'm like, hey, we need this and we want to do, nope, don't do it, right? You got to have those people that are going to say no. They got to have those people that are better than you. And to go back to your ego question, right, is to say, how do you get to that point? It's very simple. It's very simple. None of us are better than, I'm not better than you. I'm not better than anybody, right? Like, my time is valuable, so is yours. I don't have it inside of me to not be on a call like this with you, or to not help those people around me to be the best that they can possibly be. Now, does that mean they're going to be the best for the company? Maybe, maybe not. We'll decide that. They will decide that. I'll tell you this, we took over 7 offices in my history, right? They were all existing offices. We built one from scratch during my real estate career. And of those 7 offices, 99% of the people that were there prior to us coming turned over. Only one person, actually 2 people, of all those 7 offices, probably close to 50, 60 employees, all turned over. Not because they weren't great people, not because they couldn't do their job. In the history, Graeme, we fired 1 person. So 60 people, all of it turned over. 59 of them chose to move on for their own reasons, which is fine. Because when you come in and you don't have, the same thing goes with what we're talking about now, is you got to have principles and standards, and you have to live by them. Jeremy has to live by them first. I'm never going to ask you to do something I won't do. But we're going to dress a certain way. We're going to greet people a certain way. We're going to look people in the eye. We're going to stand up when they arrive. We're going to help them, right? We're going to do things a certain way. This isn't lazy. We're not going to sit down, right?
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of these people, a lot of these offices that we get, well, not a lot, all of them, we're failing but they're failing because they didn't have standards. So when you institute standards, people find a way in or out. They either rise to the standard and you have to live it, or they give you their 2-week notice and they say thank you. Never once. We fired one person, and the only reason we fired that person is because he was stealing money. And we caught him red-handed. So there was nothing else I could do. Because normally, even if it was something not stealing and not money related, I would work with them. Try to get them better. Give them better options, right? Try to coach them up. Give them better cues. Give them different tasks. Maybe they're just on the wrong seat on the bus, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe they shouldn't be in finance and they should be on this side. Maybe they shouldn't be in sales, but they should be on this side. Maybe. Yeah. And you try to, it's like rehabilitation. You try to find the right spot for them, right? You try to teach them, you try to coach them. But most people, they just come in and they go, iron fist, it's my way or the highway. It's like, nah, man.
No,
it's not.
Yeah.
And I want your input. Input all the time. I just had a Harvist call today, the hour before I met with you. And the first thing we do, how'd your week go? What can we improve on? How can we help you? And every person on that call answers those questions. Tell me about your week. Hey, the sales guy does all his numbers. What's happening? Well, we need this. Hey, can we make this happen? Hey, I had this person ask for this. Can this? Yeah, okay, cool. What about you? Hey, can we? Matter of fact, my sales guy did an awesome job. He's like, hey, we're getting this email when somebody books an appointment. Would it be okay if that email had their phone number and all of their data points on there, not just a reminder email that, hey, this person is booked an appointment with you? Yeah, great idea. And we freaking institute it, and it's already done, and it's already going forward. See what I'm saying? Like, give them the power. You got to give the people around you the power to succeed, the power to think, the power to be creative.
Yeah.
We don't beat them up when, no, tell us about it. Yeah, and do we have tough love? Sure. When you're not producing, like, hey, man, didn't sign anybody up last week. Let's get you going. Yeah, you know what I mean? How can we help? Start there.
Yeah.
If you're a leader, you can't have an ego. It can't be about you. You have to lead the people, but you have to lead yourself first. You see, leaders who are that dictatorship sort of thing is because of their own insecurities. If I'm not willing to coach you up to be better than me, it means I'm insecure about myself. It's an insecurity thing as a human, as a man. But if I show up the right way and I show up how I am, why would I want you to be better than me? Mm-hmm. And that goes back to what you talked about before. We talked about this. Then it comes back to the word impact. Be a leader and impact everybody around you. Everyone.
No,
From the
I love
people
that.
you're helping to your team. Impact them. Grow them.
I think it's really important to touch up on what you said, where it's like, I wouldn't make you do something that I wouldn't do myself. I think that is so important for leaders and CEOs to instill in themselves, just because, like, just from an employee side of working in business and stuff, it's like, why would I do something that you like can't do, or like not can't do, but like wouldn't do yourself, a physical task or something like that? Like, I'm going more kind of blue collar work. Like, I always find like I would respect my boss so much more if he was like able to do what I could do, or not to like if I'm like you said about the whole marketing thing, like you could go on Campbell, that kind of stuff, and you got to pass that task to someone who's like professional in it. But I'm sure that person respects the shit out of you because you allow him to do that, and you always ask for input and feedback and be like, hey, like, you're in this business with me. Like, you're not working for me. You're in the business with me. Like, we're growing this thing together always. So it's like, what can we all do to make it better? So I think like that is so important, because you hold yourself to that standard. You keep yourself to that standard. And, like you said, you want to hold everyone else to that standard, but you got to hold yourself first. And then going back to also kind of, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. I love that so much. That actually made me, like, this is crazy, but that actually made me quit my job. Like, I remember I was kind of on the fence, and I was like, oh, like, should I do this? Should I not do this? There was two things. First one was, if I'm 80 years old and I were to tell the story about how I quit my job or how I started my company, what would be better story? Would it be, fuck it, I'm going all in right now, and like, I'm just going to go for it, and like, don't worry about like having this be a side business to start? How cool would it be just to say like, fuck it, like, I went all in on this right from the get-go. I didn't allow for any sort of, lifeline whatsoever? Or would this story be cooler if I said, yeah, no, I kind of went like halfway through the door, and like, it took me a year to like finally grow it and all this kind of stuff? No, I think it would have been cooler say, yeah, fuck yeah, I did. I took that leap of faith with like, yeah, I did. I took that risk. So that was the first reason. Second reason is I remember going into my job and I was working night shifts and I was like, I honestly feel like I'm kind of getting dumber when come here. Like I literally I was making good money. I was making 125K a year sitting on a Navy boat, but I was watching someone else work. It was called Firewatch and you get paid like $45 an hour for it. And like everyone would be so happy about that. But I wasn't. I would sit there for 8, sometimes 12 hours watching someone weld. And I'm like, I'm actually probably getting dumber right now. Like I'm just literally just watching someone work. And there was like finally this like, I can't do this anymore moment. And I remember I was telling my buddy about it. He's like, man, like you got to get out of it. I'm like, I do got to get out. So the next Monday I went in and I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I went full on this business. So just going, we kind of went a little off track there still, but like just like holding yourself to a standard, not putting yourself in situations where it's like, am I getting better by doing this? Like, what am I actually like improving either my life or my business by doing this? Like, you got to really think about those questions. And then going back to standards, I'm not gay, but you're 54 years old and you look fucking amazing, Jeremy. You have a grandson and you are in better shape than 99% of 20-year-olds. You wake up, you told me about the salt, the lemon water, the sauna, the training. Why is the physical standard non-negotiable for you?
Because the physical is what allows for the mental. Everybody thinks it's the other way around, but you have to mentally be tough to get to the physical. But what I have found is the physical is what unleashes my mental. And so the gym and the sauna, you're right, every single morning, water, Himalayan sea salt, and lemon. That's my personal hydration cocktail, right? Nowadays, I mean, I've been doing that for a long time before the internet got crazy with what you should be taking and all the different powders that have all the stuff in there. And you can get some pretty good stuff now. There's some pretty clean, good things out there. For me, nothing beats the raw, real, right off the tree lemon, right? Big rocks of Himalayan sea salt that haven't been, that you got to crush yourself. So that is that's a staple of my life, and it's been there for years now. So, but it's what unleashes the mental side. Like for me, like it doesn't happen the other way. You've ever heard the term? People talk about this all the time. They say, with you, how you do anything is how you do everything, right? And so, but people always equate that to how you do anything is how you do everything. They take it from the top. Here's what I mean by that is you get a guy who's, super successful in business, $1 billion company, right? And then you look at him and, he's 100 pounds overweight. He's got a heart problem. He's got a diabetes problem. He's got all kinds of health problems, right? But he's got this kick-ass business. And so when you say the term, how you do anything is how you do everything, everybody takes the $1 billion guy and goes, that's not true. That's a stupid statement. That's not real. Right? And what I say to that is this. I said, no, what you don't understand is you take that same guy, girl, person, whatever.
Yeah.
And you get their health right and you get all the other aspects that they're not doing well. And when they rise, the business rises. So even though they're a 100 million, 200 million, $1 billion company and their health is failing, when their health goes up, the business rises. Because how you do anything is how you do everything is the lowest of what you do. So if there's a part of you right now that's struggling, there's a part that you feel like you don't do good, and a lot of people it's the physical, it's what they eat, and most of it's because of our mindset and what we've been taught. You do have to unlearn some things, right? We've been taught that certain things are okay and they're not, and so you do have to kind of unlearn and reprogram it, right? And get that to the right direction. But when you do, everything gets better. This company grows as Jeremy grows. If I go down, the company goes down. If I go up, the company goes up. It's together, right? It is however, and that's how everything has worked in my life, every single aspect. And so thank you for the compliment. It means the world to me because it is something that, matters, I think.
Yes.
And, at least for me, and not because, I need a compliment, is because it clears me mentally. Right? If I didn't get up this morning and hit my workout, get my water in, sauna, right? And get to this point to be here with you, I wouldn't be 100%. And here's how I think about it, Graeme. You asked me to be here. We agreed. And so once I said yes to that, once I said, yes, Graeme, let's meet, let's put this on our schedule, and let's take the time out of each other's day, and let's go spend some time together. Okay? Once I
Make
said
this a
that,
great podcast.
now I'm 100% committed.
Yeah.
Not 99, not 98, not 95. 100% committed to you. And the way I can be my best is by getting that shit done first. So this morning, let me tell you this, and this goes for the audience. The night before, I still write everything down because I need it. I want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I still write it down. I have a lot of digital stuff that we do. I have a digital company, but I personally still write everything down. So at the end of my day, I write down. So I'm going from Monday into Tuesday. I'm going to read it to you because this is true. 6 a.m., eggs. 11 a.m., Harp. That's our marketing company that helps us, right? 11:30 is Harvist team meeting. 12:30, Graeme. That's what's on on here, right? But I write it down Monday night going into Tuesday. So today's Tuesday, it'll go into Wednesday. But here's my point. Once I write that down, it's set. This is it.
Yeah.
Nothing wavers. And each one of those deserves 100% of me. The only way that's going to happen is if I get my ass out of bed on time. And today, because we were meeting this, and this is not something I get to do. The other things are always part of my Tuesday.
Yeah.
This is something special. So I couldn't wait to get out of bed this morning.
Yeah.
I couldn't
I
wait.
was the
You know
same
what I
way.
mean?
Yeah.
But I want people to hear this because I think it's important for everybody. Like,
Yes.
you should look forward to tomorrow, but you close out your day and then you schedule your next day. What time do I need to be up? One of the questions you can ask yourself, take this with you. Who needs me on my A game today? Or who needs me on my A game tomorrow? Answer that question. Because sometimes it's you, right? In this situation, Graeme, you're hosting. So if you asked yourself, you could say Jeremy, but you should say you because you got to be 100% because you're leading this conversation, right? Mm. So the people who are listening to this, do it. Ask yourself the night before you go to bed. Or what is the number one thing that has to get done tomorrow? Write it down. Who needs me on my A game? Write it down. Because don't show up with your B game. Don't show up with your C game. And then when you know how to get to your A game, which for me, water, Himalayan sea salt, lemon, get my shit together, right? Out to the gym, turn the sauna on, get my workout in, 20 minutes in the sauna, sweat my face off, jump into the cold shower, get a little bit, brush, get ready, and get ready for my day. That gets me on my A game. That's the start of my A game. You have to figure out what it is for you. Maybe that's not for you. That's okay. I'm not telling you to do what I do. I'm telling you to find yours. What's the thing that's gonna click you every single day that you're on? And again, maybe you need a day off. We all need rest. Trust me. We go hard, man. Right? You go hard.
Yeah.
You remember those hockey days?
Yeah.
Where you're like, fuck, I need a break. And you do. And that's okay too. Take the break.
That's human.
Reset,
that's a human
relax,
in us. Yeah.
Do it. Everybody listening, do it. But damn it, stop giving 90%. Stop giving 95%. Stop giving 99%. You're going to do it? Give it 100%. And 100% is not an entire day. You understand? 100% is when I'm on that task, it gets 100% of me in that moment, period. And then when that's done, take a little break and then get to your next task, 100%. Mm-hmm. When you go sit with your wife, turn your phone off, get it out. Give it 100% of you. I know we're long on time, but I want to share this story because it's really, really important. Yeah. It's a lesson that I think everybody, if you have kids and you have a wife or vice versa, you have a husband, whatever, man or woman, if you have a spouse and you have kids, I'm going to tell my youngest daughter, her name's Ryan. She's the one who gave me my grandbaby. I got a little grandboy named Noah, killer little dude. It just warms my heart. She was 11 years old. We were sitting at home. At the time, that was when I was heavy in real estate. Man, 7 days a week, right? Real estate doesn't stop. Closing people all the time. And so it's a Sunday morning, and she comes in and she's like, Dad, can we watch a movie today? I said, yeah. You know what, Ryan? Let's do it. Set it up. Pick your movie. Set it up. We don't have streaming in those days, so forgive me, all you guys that are, only have streaming. We used to have these things called DVDs. Weird, I know. Used to have to put it in and watch it. And here's what happened. We sat on the couch with this huge sectional couch, and we pull it up. We got a blanket where you could literally lay down because the ottoman was so big it would fill the whole couch. You could lay like 4 or 5 people on it. It was amazing. And in the armrest, Dad's side, right, it had electronics and all that kind of stuff. My phone was plugged in there. About 10 minutes into the movie, my phone goes off, and I look at it, answer a quick little text, put it back in. That happens like 2 or 3 more times. And here's what happened to me. I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh shoot, this person, let me check my email real quick. So I
Yeah.
jump on the email, and there was a little email thread, and so I start going back and forth. Actually sent a couple documents that needed to get out. I was working, okay, sitting on the couch. During that time, Ryan got up. I thought she went down. She went down the hallway. I thought she was going to the bathroom. I'm like, okay, she'll be back in a minute. I'm still on my phone, texting, freaking answering emails like I'm working. By the way, it's Sunday morning around 10 o'clock, right? And all of a sudden I look up and the movie's over and she's not back. I'm like, huh, that's weird. I take the blanket off, I put my phone down and kick the ottoman out, and I get up and walk. And as I'm walking down the hallway, I see her room's on the right hand side. I see the door is like 3/4 shut, but I could see that the light was on. I was like, huh. So I walk into the room and I push the door open. By the way, this is not my clean child. This is not the one who cleans her room and makes her bed, right? Some of you guys
Yeah.
have those that are listening right now, okay? Wait, so imagine you right now walk into that child's room and her room is spotless. Her bed is made and she's laying on the bed. And she's facing this way and I'm at the door on the other side. And she's looking. So she's not facing me. Her eyes are forward. And I'm on the side. And she's looking at her, and she has a book in her hand and she's turning the page. And I cracked the door open. I saw her. I said, Rhino. She's like, hey, Dad. Like, what are you doing? Nothing. Like, I thought we were gonna watch a movie. Yeah, me too. Me too. Right?
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there with her. I was not watching the movie.
Yeah.
I was on my phone. I was checking, and I could tell you I was working. And I don't know, maybe that's a $1 million sale that's gonna, gross the company 30 grand when it closes, right? I could justify it all, right? I could justify it in my own head. You telling me I didn't have 90 minutes or 100, or 120
Yeah.
minutes to just sit there, not be on my phone, and be present with her? You don't get those days back, man.
Yeah.
And it crushed me. That moment crushed my heart, and I was like, fuck, she's right. Again, it goes back to your ego. You'd be like, well, just come back. No. I said, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
I said, you ever ask me to watch a movie again? My phone's going in the other room, and you're right. I apologize, baby. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Thank you for calling me out on my bullshit. My 11-year-old calling me out, which is true, and she was 100% right. Just like that coach that day was right. I wasn't good enough. He's right? Like, listen, pay attention. We're not always right.
Yeah. Don't let the ego get in the way.
She was right that day, and it never happened again. Because when you learn the lesson, if you learn the lesson, it won't happen again. But if it happens again, you haven't learned your lesson. If it happens again, you haven't learned your lesson. The lesson's going to keep coming. It's going to keep smacking you in the face. It's going to keep punching you. It's going to keep punching. Every time you come around, it's going to smack you again. Until you change that behavior, until you change what you do, you're going to learn the lesson again. And you're going to get smacked again. And then you're going to get smacked again. Until you learn it. And she was right that day. And I'm grateful every day for it. Because I
love
know
that.
now. And that's where this 100 or nothing comes into it. If you're going to do something, do it 100%. When we go to a restaurant together, all of us now, even as grown-ups, and they're all grown-ups,
Phones away.
even as a kid, we take our phones, we put them in the center, and we just set them there. No one's allowed to be on their phone, and that's their gig, not mine. But now everybody's present. We have great conversation. We laugh and we joke, right? And we're not sitting around looking at our phones. And not that that's bad. To each his own. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if you can learn a lesson, the lesson needs to be 100 or nothing. There's no in between. And again, in that day, I could give her 100% of my time for those minutes together, be there with her. And then she's going to be good. She's going to go up. She's going to want to go play. She's going to go want to do her thing. Maybe she goes to a friend's house. And now I can sit down and I can be 100% focused on the work. And I can do the same shit I just did. But each moment deserves its moment. Be in those moments. Don't fucking miss them. Be in them. Enjoy them. And when the lesson's there, learn it. Don't fight it. Don't act like you know everything. Don't justify the shitty behavior. That was shitty behavior on my part. Shitty. Don't justify it. I could have easily been like, hey, we made X amount this year. This is going to be this much. She doesn't give a shit, man.
Yeah.
She could care less. She wanted 120 minutes with her dad. And I
think that's really important, like, especially for business owners to hear. I love that lesson. I love that story. I actually read a book called Tuesdays with Maury.
So good.
Oh, you read it? Yeah, like same thing where there was a chapter in the book where he was like, be in the moment. I forget exactly which lesson it was, but it's one of those things that just like stuck with me internally and like is just like always with me. Like I'm not a guy. I don't cry. I remember was reading this book on the Stairmaster, and I was getting to the point where it's coming to his last days. I'm like, holy fuck! Like this book is gonna make me cry. I'm like, what the hell? Like it was honestly like the most like life changing book that I've ever read. But one of the amazing lessons that book gave me was that giving 100% in that moment and like putting the phone away. If you're having family time, you're having family. Like that's so important, just like be present in the moment and what you're doing. And even with, he talks about even with your emotions, like he's like, there's a little backstory. He's a professor, has ALS. He's going to be dying soon. And he says that when he wakes up in the morning, he's always sad, but he allows himself to be 100% sad for that, whatever 30 minutes it is. But then he gets out of it and he's like, I'm not going to allow myself to be sad anymore. He allows it to, he welcomes it. He welcomes this emotion, lets it be 100% sad. And then he moves on because he wants to, he has the meeting on Tuesday with his student and he doesn't want to be sad during that conversation. He wants to be 100% in the moment and like give 100% to that interview or that meeting with him or that life lesson that he's going to give that day. So a book I 100% recommend to people if you want to like touch base a little bit more on this whole giving 100% always at your time. It's amazing story. This is a really important part, I think, is the heart of the episode. So you told me about a speaking gig where a 24-year-old named Nick came up to you and said something that changed your life forever. He told you that your story could save a kid laying in his bed right now. Can you tell us that interaction with Nick, why that ripple effect, the only metric that matters to you now?
Yes. When I got, playing baseball and then through the business side and all those connections, I mean, one of the other things too is, went to the CrossFit games. So again, there was some accolades and things like that. And so I used to do some keynote speeches throughout talking about those things. And so in that that keynote is actually titled "You're Not Good Enough ... Yet," and I tell the 13-year-old boy story in that. And in the end, after we came down, you come off the stage and you do like a meet and greet where people can come over and you kind of do a light Q&A, take some pictures and that kind of thing. And this kid comes up and he, can I get a picture? Yeah, of course, jump on in. So as we're taking a picture, he says to me, that was amazing. Thank you so much. You changed my life. He goes into like, and I was like, wow, okay. I mean, it's what you want to hear, right? Is that people are impacted by what you're doing and what you're saying and in the parts of your life that can help people in theirs, right? Because I'm not the only kid ever, or the only person ever that was not told they're good enough, right? And so how do you come out of that? But he said to me, as he was walking away, he goes, but it's a real shame. And I was like, whoa, shame? Like, what are you talking about?
Good hook.
And he said, well, I looked online and I couldn't find you anywhere, right? You don't have a YouTube channel. You don't have, those days didn't have a podcast. Actually, couldn't find you anywhere. And I was like, to be honest, I was like, yeah, that's by design, man. I'm trying to be as private as I can and, do these things and whatever. He's like, yeah, that's the shame of it. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And he said, because no one's ever going to hear that. Not everybody's going to be able to be in these rooms. Not everybody's going to be able to afford a ticket or be part of these companies. And I was like, there was a line, right? And people were like, hey, come on. And I was like, called the timeout. And I grabbed him. And I said, well, what's your name? He said, Nick. And I said, Nick, get your phone out. So he got his phone out and I said, text me. I'm going to give you my phone number right now. I want you to text me. Are you around today, later? He's like, yeah. I said, I want to take you to dinner. And he's like, oh, that would be awesome. But, I have my girlfriend with me. I said, bring her. Like, I don't care. Come on. I'm going to buy you dinner because I have some questions for you. And so we exchanged numbers, and sure enough, he came to dinner. And was so grateful and so excited, right? Like the keynote guy, which I'm like, dude, I'm just put my pants on the same way you do, kid. Like, just a little bit older, and so what you can learn. So anyways, I asked him on there, I said, hey, I want you to tell me more about that story. And he said, listen, some kid somewhere is going to be on what we do nowadays is we're on the social media, we're on the YouTube, right? And we watch these. And he said, and some kid's going to see that and have been told he's not good enough or feel like he's not good enough. And if he sees that and he knows and he sees you and he hears that story and he hears it gets better, he might not kill himself that night. And I was like, shit. And my heart dropped. I mean, my stomach hurt. I mean, we had beautiful, fillets and food. And I felt like I couldn't even eat in that moment. I was like, oh my God. And what I realized was, again, it was one of those moments where, see, it was all about me. I was trying to not be out there so I could just be quiet in the shadows, right? And I didn't want to be no influencer. I don't want to be a million followers. I don't give a shit about any of that. But if I can help one kid that I never know, that never see, that I don't know, and this is the impact that you want to have. And so when we finished, we had a great dinner, and he's a great kid. He's gone on to some amazing things. Same with his girlfriend. They're married now. And the thing is what he gave me that day was what I live by today. Is it's not about me. It's about the impact. And it's a story. And then I said to you that day, and I'll say it again. I said this even at my grandmother's funeral. I said, listen, and all of you are listening right now, all of you, just imagine, right? You've seen bodies of water before. You've seen it, right? Imagine it's perfect glass, whether it's a lake, whether it's an ocean, whether it's a pond, whatever it is that you've ever seen in your life, that everybody's seen a body of water somewhere. Just imagine it for a second, and it's perfect, just perfect glass. And now imagine you have a little tiny pebble in your hand, and you walk to that water, and you drop it in. And when that thing hits, what you'll see is the ripple. And it'll go out farther than you can ever see. And that's the difference, is now doing things like this, or talking about it, or telling the story outside of just my private little groups, or on a stage somewhere, is that hopefully it does. It has that ripple. It has that effect. And I want everyone on here to know is you can retell the story. Hey, I watched this guy, or I heard this thing, or I heard this from Graeme, or whatever. Because the stories can go on, and the stories can help people. Your story can help people. Your trauma, your situation, whatever it is. We don't want to talk about it, but if we do, we can help somebody else. And I promised Nick that day, I said, I promise you this, Nick, what you gave me today is priceless, and I promise in return, I will not go to my grave with any of this inside of me. Somebody's going to be able to find it somewhere, somehow. And I'm going to tell the story as many times as I can, and I will give as much as I can. Because I want that ripple effect. And now that you have it, you have to go give it to somebody else, right? And that's what I told you that day. I said, This can't end with me. The only way, because once I die, it's over. I don't get to tell the story anymore. Hopefully you can find it now with the internet and everything else, is that you'll be able to find it somewhere. But the truth is, hopefully I impacted you enough that you're going to give it to somebody else. And then they're going to give it to somebody else. And it goes on. And that's how we live on. That's the truth of it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's leave an impact. And the impact is in the stories that we tell, and the pros and the cons of our lives. We've all had them. We've all failed, right? We've all felt, if you haven't been told you're not good enough, you've at least felt like it, right? And it's okay. It's okay. You're right. And as long as you want to put in the effort, anything's possible.
That's amazing. I love that so much. I did, in fact, take that goal that we promised each other, that we are going to help at least one person by this podcast. I really do hope that. And I want, like you said, after our last call, you're like, Graeme, this is going to be our mission. Our goal that day is just only one person needs to hear it, and we just need to help one person.
That's it.
So that's amazing. And that's coming to a close to this podcast. There is someone listening to this right now who feels like that 13-year-old kid. They've been told they aren't good enough. They've been rejected. They feel stuck. Look them in the eye. What do they need to do today? Not tomorrow, not in 5 years. What do they need to do today to start their own ripple?
Well, first of all, confidence and belief only come from doing. It doesn't come from shouting affirmations in the mirror. I'm not saying affirmations are bad, but confidence and belief in ourselves does not come from just simple words. It comes from action. So all you need to do is take that first step. So what I say is this: if it's a business, write down everything that needs to get done for that business. Write it down. And then here's your task. You're going to take your pen that you just did, and you're going to wave it around like it's a magic wand. And you can only pick one of those things. Because I know people that I've sat with people and done business, I've done this, and they got 30, 40, 50 things on there that need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's going to cause overwhelm. That's what's going to cause you to feel like you're not good enough. That's what's going to cause you to think you can't do it, because it's overwhelm. Overwhelm comes from too many options, from too many things. So all you have, it could be one, it could be 3 things, it could be 30 things. I don't care. Get them out of your head, get them on a piece of paper, and then you're going to take your pen You're going to wave it on around that paper, and you can only pick one of those things. What's the one thing that's on that paper that you would do over all else? You're going to circle it, go do that. Just go do that one thing. Because the one step is what's going to get you to the other. It's going to break the thing to say, I can't do this, that there's too much, that I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the right technology. Whatever the story is, doesn't matter. Get it out of your head on a piece of paper, take your magic wand, and put it over that one thing that matters. Circle it, go do that. That will break you out of that feeling immediately. Because the human brain needs progress. It needs to go forward. When it's stuck and it does nothing, it only gets worse. You got to do something. And then once that thing's done, go back, write them all again. New piece of paper, write them all again. Because you're going to come up with things, because here's what happens. If you keep looking at this, you think that these are the things and this is an order. It doesn't matter. You need to do the first thing. Then you need to throw that piece of paper out and start over. And then you need to rewrite. After you've done that, now I rewrite everything that I think needs to get done again. Because new things are going to come up along the way. Because when you do that, we go, oh shoot, this needs to get done. But don't do it. Finish this. Throw that piece of paper out and then rewrite them again. And then take your magic wand, because it is magic, and pick the one thing that it needs, circle that, and go do that. And you just keep doing that and keep doing that. And now we're going to have progress. And now we're going to start moving in the right direction. And as you do something, new things are going to come up. That's why you always have to have a new list. Don't get stuck in your list. Most people write it all down and they think that's all that needs to be done. It's not even close. Because once you start progressing, right? Once you start moving, new things happen. New things happen. New things come to light. And that's what we want. We need to know, because it's the unknowable. There's things right now you don't know. So you have to keep moving forward. But throw it out, new list, get that one thing done. Throw it out, new list, get that one thing done.
Yeah, it's
And
important.
keep the progress.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I think it's really important for everyone to hear all these amazing lessons that you just gave us today. Jeremy, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I am so grateful for you for taking the time out of your day to hop on this podcast with me and share your journey and all these beautiful lessons that I think everyone needs to hear. And I truly do believe that whoever listens, even if it's 10 people, we at least helped one of them.
That's all that matters, man. You and me today, let's just help one person. And let me return it, because wouldn't be here without you. I thank you for reaching out. I thank you for being the man that you are and everything that you're doing. I commend you. And the reason I'm here is because of you. So thank you. I appreciate you.
Where can people go to, like learn more from you or use Harvist to change their business? Where do they go?
You can, Harvist is easy. It's spelled with an I, harvist.com. You can see it if you're in the real estate world or you're in the marketing world and you need some help with that. That's an easy one. You can reach me all the way through there. I'm not super active on the socials besides with that kind of stuff, but if you DM me at my personal handle is Basebrawl, BASEBRAWL. If you message me on Instagram or on Facebook, I always personally answer those. So I'd be more than happy to chat and sure, if you need business coaching, we can talk about what that looks like. I only have 2 spots available. I don't really fill those much. Don't really even promote it, but if they have business questions, I can always answer those too. You don't have to be part of coaching. Let's help some people, Graeme. You and me, buddy.
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you so much again. And to everyone listening, you aren't good enough yet. Go do something about it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye now. All right.